Hello, everyone. It's William. Here at Allegory Gallery, we are a bead store located in Ligonier, Pennsylvania, just about 60 miles to the east of Pittsburgh. If you don't know who we are, that's who we are. We're here to hopefully, encourage people to be creative and learn how to, put things together and, just explore with creativity and jewelry making. We love it. We love teaching you all. We love having you all here. So if you're in the area visiting Pittsburgh or visiting Ligonier itself, we have a beautiful town here. It's kind of small town USA with main streets and shops on every corner. It's a really beautiful town. Or maybe you're visiting Frank Lloyd Wright's Fallingwater. We're very close to that. How about that? So if you're in the area, we hope you'll stop by. But we do these lives pretty much every weekday. And sometimes we're showing you stuff for sale. Sometimes we're just chatting with you. Sometimes we're giving you demos. And we hope you'll tune in. And so we're going to hang out here a little bit and wait for some people to filter in. Then we're going to show you some of the home goods we have in store. I know, a bead store with home goods. But yes, it's true. We do. We have things like that. Yesterday, we showed you some of our, fabric goods. We showed you some tote bags, some scarves, some of the indigo African blankets that we have. So if you missed that, check that out. Also, last night, later our time especially, it was around midnight, 11 o'clock or midnight, I think, our time. Andrew went live from Tucson to show you some of the very first things that he's picked up there. So if you missed that, you definitely want to play the replay on that. We do still have a lot of those items available. So if you'd like to grab any of those, there are instructions in that video how to get it, but he did lot numbers, so you can write down the lot numbers and send them to us in an email. So all that information is in that video. Each of our videos, sometimes it's a little bit different to claim things. So that one will tell you, take down the lot number, send it to us in an email. So if you didn't see all that beautiful stuff, you missed out. But you didn't miss out yet because a lot of it's still available. So go do the replay, but maybe do the replay after this video. I don't know. Or maybe you can replay this video later if you're really interested in the gemstones, because he got some nice stuff for amazing prices. Amazing prices. I don't know how he got prices like that. Other than we do work with the same vendors over and over. And when they see us, they're like, okay, I know these people. These are good people. And so that's how we get good prices. Marianne says, sent you an email this morning. Thank you so much. Vanessa says, I was able to catch the replay. Thank you. Harry says, I caught the video live and bought a strand. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Norma is with us today. Teresa joined in. Julie. Let's see. Marianne, AG Bead fam out there. Thank you all so much for joining us. Both Teresas are here. Thank you. So today, like I said, we're going to do a few Marianne says, talk about Tucson treasures, right? Yeah, the lot numbers were TT for Tucson treasures, and they were treasures at a good price. Normally you have to go on an epic quest to get treasures, and that's kind of what Andrew did with Cynthia and Azalea across the country. But you don't have to go on an epic quest because we've picked them out for you. And so all you have to do is watch yesterday's video. It's available on our YouTube channel and also here on our Facebook page for replay. And you can get treasures in the convenience of your own living room. Just throw the YouTube app on your TV and watch the video, and then send us an email when you're ready to claim. Many of the items still have some available. We played that very late at night, so I don't think a lot of people were able to see it yet. So check that out, grab them, make sure you get the things you want. Hello, Suzanne. Thank you for joining in. So we're going to talk a little bit today like we always do, but I'm not going to do too much talk at the beginning because I think, maybe some people, usually we talk at the beginning so that people can filter in. But I think today we're going to talk a little bit to let people, I have a number counter right here on my screen. We're going to let a few people filter in, as many as we can get here in the first maybe 10 minutes or so. So we'll talk here for a little bit for 10 minutes or so. We're already at 5. And then we'll go look around the store at some of the home goods we have. And I know you don't always think of home goods from a bead store, but when we find little things that we think are cute or useful in some way, sometimes we bring them in. So I'm going to show you some home goods, especially things from artisan people and artisan made items. We have some of those. So I want to show you those today. There aren't a lot of them. But once we're finished showing those, then we will sit and do a Let's Chat session, which if you don't know what that is, if you've not been following us for a while, Let's Chat is where we just sit, we hang out with you, we talk about what's on our mind, meaning me, I talk about what's on my mind, you comment, talk about what's on your mind, and sometimes we jump into different conversations, and it's a lot of fun. I'm pointing this way because this is where the comments are on my screen. So it's a lot of fun, and we get to know each other, we get to hang out for a little bit. So, what's going on in the world? What's going on with all of you? I'm going to get to what's going on in our world when we do the Talk session, the Let's Chat session after this. So I don't want to get too much into that now. But if you would share this video right now, that would be great. We can hopefully get our numbers up before that 10-minute mark, before we start looking at things. Now, if you do miss the first portion of a video of ours, or you miss, some of the selling portion of the video, all of our videos are available for replay after the fact, or actually if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching this video live, you can rewind on YouTube. You can't do that on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, you have to wait until the end and wait until they process the video, then you can go back and rewatch it. But if you're on YouTube, you can go back and catch anything you missed. So that's kind of a plus for the YouTube side. And if you are on YouTube, we hope you'll give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. That really helps. Those shares also really help. The comments really help. It all tells the algorithm that somebody likes us, right? Somebody likes us, and that's always a good thing. Let's see, Norma says, me too, all those tourmaline and moonstone beauties that just aren't in my budget right now. I feel ya, y'all. I feel ya. Our budget is for this Tucson trip. And we're probably blowing our budget even a little bit, and shouldn't be. Siri is talking to me. We're probably blowing our budget a little bit and shouldn't be, but sometimes you have to grab the things while you can and hope you make the money back later. That's pretty much life in this economy right now, and trying to keep the store going. So we hear you, and we are thankful for any bit of support that you can give us. Marianne has so many gorgeous beads that I cannot afford that much. Let's see here. Marianne says, I got requested the Chrysocolla because I don't have any yet. The Chrysocolla was beautiful. Really nice pieces of Chrysocolla. Andrew did great finding Moonstone, Chrysocolla, Chrysoprase, Tourmaline. Oh, and that Andalusite, y'all. I love Andalusite. And sometimes, when you see good specimens of certain stones, you're like, I love this stone. And when you talk about it to people, they're like, why do you like that? Because they haven't seen a good specimen of it, right? Andrew got some good specimens of Andalusite last night, and it's beautiful. Definitely make sure you check out that video if you haven't. If you're interested in any good goodies, good gemstones, he's selling live from Tucson. They just started their show, I think at 6, well, it was 4 o'clock, no, 6 o'clock our time, 6:54. They didn't start their show yet. See, I'm all discombobulated because I was thinking they said their show starts at 4. So at 5 o'clock, I was like, oh, they must have started by now. They didn't yet. They didn't yet. So our time, we're 2 hours difference. So at our time at 6 o'clock, Andrew will start his show in Tucson with Cynthia and Azalea at Green Girl Studios. And hopefully they have a great show. I'm sure they're getting set up now and trying to get everything in place. Suzanne says the replay comes in handy sometimes. It does. It does. Especially if you're on YouTube and you just got to go back real quick and then jump back to where you are live. That's the kind of replay for me that comes in very handy. Because if I miss something, like I watch a lot of YouTube videos and our friends and things, and when I miss something, it's great to be able to just jump back and go forward again. Hello, Amanda. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Harry says, lots of stuff was lovely. I was up past my bedtime to watch it. Thank you. I know. I was surprised to see you jump in because I know you usually go to bed a little bit earlier because you get up early. Hello, Nancy. Thank you for joining us today. Good to see you here. Vanessa says, what are the chances of us ordering something then getting it in our Tucson box? We keep lists, y'all. So if you order something from the live show, it's not going to also show up in your Tucson box unless you want it to. But the live shows are separate from the Tucson box. So we're going to make sure that you don't get the same thing. So if you saw something in the live that you really, really want, then you should make sure you get it that way. And then the Tucson boxes will have different stuff. So there shouldn't be overlap. And if there is overlap, then we'll make it right in the end for you, okay? But there shouldn't be any kind of overlap like that because I make spreadsheets of everything everyone buys, from especially when it's lot number spreadsheets like that, and keeping track of quantities that we have left because Andrew's there and I'm here. So I had to write down how many strands he had, what the price was, and who got them and who claimed them. So I keep lists on my end so that when he brings everything back, we can get it shipped out for you real quick. So you should not get the same things because if you have the Tucson boxes, I'm going to be feeding that information to Andrew saying, oh, they claim this, they claim that. We got to make sure it's not in their box. So shouldn't have to worry about that. There shouldn't be duplication. But if there is, you know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts to all of this, especially with us in 2 different locations right now. So if it does happen to happen like that, we'll make it right. All right. Hello, Debbie. Debbie says, hello, William and everyone. I've been working so many hours for weeks and I finally caught a live. Yes, awesome. You know, sometimes when we don't see somebody's name for a while, we get a little concerned. But we know a lot of you are busy. And if it takes a long time, we don't see, sometimes we check in, and sometimes we do that for people because you never know, right? Things get crazy. Marion says, oh, for an unlimited budget. I get it, right? I want an unlimited budget too. That's my goal in life, to have an unlimited budget. So I keep playing the $1 billion lotteries because that's pretty much an unlimited budget when you're buying bead strands. Debbie says it's 3:20 here in Arizona. Yeah, so you got another 40 minutes before their show opens approximately. Amanda says, I watched the replay today. Beautiful finds indeed. Thank you. Marianne says, I was asleep, right? Marianne says, however, duplication of the best isn't necessarily bad, right? It's true. But we understand. You don't want to buy something and then get it again when you've already bought it. Sometimes you want more than one. But yeah, we'll do our best to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, you know, just a quick ship you something else. That can happen too. Hello, Susie. All right. So I said I'm not going to talk a lot in the beginning because I know a lot of people tune in and probably tune out because they're like, what are they even doing? So I'm going to show you the stuff. It's crazy, right? I'm going to show you the stuff now. And then we're going to sit down, and anybody who wants to stay along with me and chat a little more can stay after the fact and chat a little more with me. I think that's a good way to do things, maybe. Maybe we'll keep doing that in the future. But we do like to make sure people get a chance to actually tune in because it takes a while for everyone to get their notifications and to get everything settled. If you're like me, you have to get in the headspace and the proper room and all that in the house when things aren't going on and get settled for the live. So let's flip the camera and hello, Robin. Thanks for joining us. So let's flip the camera if I can. I have to hold this thing because I keep forgetting to bring my the gimbal that I have when I know I'm going to be doing these lives that I walk around the store with. So we're going to start with some of these things first. So these cats, how about these cats? Aren't they cool? I think they're cool. They're $50 each. And these are handmade out of polymer clay. They're super light. You know, they have a little bit of weight to them so that they don't fall over, but they have an aluminum foil core. And that makes them much lighter than if they'd be completely made out of polymer clay. But we made these together with our friend Kelly Russell. She helped us and showed us how to do these little blue shibori-like fabric bottoms these little pants, little cat pants. So she showed us how to do that technique, and it's actually made with 12, each one of these little panels that you see has 12 different layers of different colored polymer clay. And then they are cut through, you know, to the depth that you want to show for each one. So she showed us how to do that and worked with us on that. Her signature is actually, you'll see if it can, there's KR, Kelly Russell. And so her signature is actually on the bottom of those. And then each one of the cats is then completely sculpted by hand by Andrew and painted by Andrew to give them the expressions they have. Nancy says, I love mine. His personality is pleasing. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Glad you love it, actually, right? Hello, Linda. Thanks for joining in. Didn't get a notification once again. Don't know why. Usually people on YouTube get good notifications. I always get the notifications we're going live, which is nice. Sorry you didn't get one, but we're here. We're just started showing things. We're starting a showing things first today, and then we're going to chat after for anyone who wants to hang out and just chat with me. We're going to go over some things we're doing, things we're thinking about, and then we're going to see what you're all up to and chat with you. So we have some cats. We're going to have more of these cats around. These aren't all of them. Some of them are all over the store. Then you're going to see Indonesian carved sculptures and things all over as we go through. And these generally range from about $15 or $10 even for some of them to about $25 or so for some of the masks. So if there's anything that you see there, I'm not going to point every one of them out to you because that would take us forever. But if you're interested in that kind of artwork, they're hand carved and hand painted in Indonesia. And if you're interested in that, you can always send us an email and I'll be happy to get you different photos of things that we have and availability and prices, okay? That goes for anything. So if I'm panning across here and you're like, oh, that necklace right there, you can send me an email and let me know, or you can even comment here and I'll try and give you answers. But you can send me an email and that'll give me time to look it up and check everything and get you better pictures and prices and all that. So never hesitate to email us. I'm actually going to put our email up. I hate to do that because it covers so much of my screen, but I'm going to do that so that you have that there. All right. You know what? Actually, let's do it this way because let's take that away. Let's do this banner because this is the screenshot banner. If you do see something you like, take a screenshot. That's how you're going to claim in today's video. So take a screenshot of it and send it to us, okay? I'm trying not to shake too much, but I'm a little shaky today. I did eat, which was kind of new for me, eating a little bit of lunch, but I'm trying to be better about it. And I also, here's what I did today. I got a half calf coffee. I usually drink decaf. Y'all know I got rid of caffeine mostly because of my anxiety. And, but I was starting to feel a little headachy again, and I didn't want to get another migraine. And I know that caffeine generally helps me. So I got a little half calf coffee, and that might be why I'm a little bit jittery today, more so than usual. We got these masks. I love these masks. I have loved masks like this ever since I was a kid. And you will notice a lot of our store is a lot of things that we have. And it's because we've loved them since we were kids. And I always wanted these when I was a kid, and I could never get them because we didn't have a lot of money, and you couldn't find them very often, especially at a price that we could afford. So we have them now. I have lots of them now. I sell them now. And these are, I think, $25 each. We made them so that, actually they're $20 each. $20 each. I wanted to make sure that if kids come in or anyone comes in, they didn't have the issue that I had growing up, that it was so expensive that they couldn't afford them. These could be well worth more than that. They could be at least double that. And many places have them much more than that. But we put them at $20 because we could. And so that's, some people see our low prices and they're like, what's wrong with them? Why are they messed up? Or no, it's just because we believe in making sure that people are able to afford things even if they don't have a lot of money, because we never want to see that poor kid's face walking out sad because their parents couldn't afford to get them something, because I know that feeling, and it's important to us. We both know that feeling. It's important to us that we don't give that feeling as much as we possibly can. Obviously, there's always something that somebody could find that's going to be um, more expensive than they can afford, but we try to have something for everyone. This is a cool. It's a wall hanging, but it's also a dish, so it can sit on the ground, or not. Well, you can sit it on the ground, but you can sit it on a table or something like that and use it for keys or anything like that. These are little key racks or coat racks. I wouldn't want to put anything too heavy on them because it's a light wood. So maybe the scarves, if you got any scarves the other day, I still have to invoice for those. So if you didn't get an invoice from me for the scarves, or the where we looked at some check glass and some pearls and some Roman glass, I haven't invoiced for those yet. I've been a little bit busy getting things together. So we are trying. I will get through all of that probably tomorrow is my goal. So these are some Indonesian things as well. So little mirrors, little coat or scarf hangers, or hang your keys. That might be more of a key one, this little one here. Susan says, use it for jewels, right? Exactly. Linda says, oh, that's so sweet, William. I wish other retailers would think that way more often. Me too. I really do. It's hard sometimes being a kid, especially when your parents don't have a lot of money, and it's difficult. And Andrew, I think, grew up even with less than I did. And so it really is important to all of us here at Allegory Gallery that we provide things at rates that, hopefully anybody can get. Like this is $20 for this carve. This is all hand carved. And we got it at a good enough price that we can offer it for $20. So a little something for everyone is what we try to do. And I'm just taking you through and showing you some of these things more than pointing everything out. Kind of like a little store tour, but just want to give you an idea of some of the home goods that we have. This collection of items here, Suzanne says those carvings make great gifts, right? I think so. I love these birds. These are really popular for gifts. They're just little, this is $10. $10, everybody, for a hand-carved bird. What a great gift, right? That bird has a great expression too. Some of these have really great expressions. Miles says you could use a nautical section. Yeah, we don't really have one of those. But I used to really like nautical things when I was growing up too. So you never know what's going to show up. Susan says, I got to get a bird, right? So this collection of wooden pieces here that you see is from an artisan wood turner named Chuck Finley, lovingly called Woodchuck Finley. And he makes beautiful bowls, beautiful home goods. These are some pieces, I think, from 2019 that we have available. This one is $75, for example. Usually he uses multi-woods in his pieces, and then glosses them nice so that they are resistant to fading in the sun and all that good stuff. Each one of these is handmade. I love these decorative items. This is one of my very favorites. This one has like 4 different woods on it. The wood on the little piece here is different from this wood, which is different from this wood, which is different from the wood on the bottom. And they are lovely. If you're looking for a very nice gift for someone for a decorative piece, I think those are beautiful, beautiful. So they range, this one is $125. And Woodchuck, he does a lot of different things. He actually works out at my other job. That's how I met him. We sell British car parts at that business. This one is $95. We sell British car parts, and the old British sports cars had wooden dashboards and wooden shift knobs. And this one is $95. And this top comes off, but this one is actually a little bit tighter than the other ones. It's made to stay on a little bit better. Some people calling this, I think, the wood urn. This is probably my very, very favorite piece out of all of these. And I just love this piece. I think it's so beautiful. I love that little top, just the way that little handle is. So he makes the dashboards and the shift knobs for the British sports cars that we do our own in-house. And I met him that way. And he is, he also used to do antique restorations. This is a little plate that he did, just a simple little plate. This plate is $15. So we have a few of these little plates, little bowls scattered around the store. But he used to do antique restorations, and he used to do antique reproductions. So once he's done, I think he's getting closer and closer to retirement, and he's getting his wood shop back up and running a little more. And every once in a while, I get a new piece from him that we put in the store. And so I don't know what we'll get once he retires. I might get even more. So if you like any of these, help him out. It also helps us out. You know, when we work with artisan people, every sale helps not only us, but it helps them as well. So there you go. There are those. Let's see. Let's go back a little bit. Debbie said, Chuck made that gorgeous car that you had on a shelf. I love that car. Yeah, let's go look at that real quick. We moved the car back here into the classroom because we're getting ready to expand the classroom area here a little bit. But he made this car. Let's see if I can get it. He made this car. It has leather interior. That's leather interior with wool carpeting, just like the British sports cars have. And it's made all out of wood. The wheels do turn. I don't know if I can turn them and show you it and hold it at the same time, but they do turn. Bad is the license plate. And he has wires to the engine. Even a grill up front. So yeah, he made that as well. If you're interested in this piece, and I've covered with my hand the price tag, this is $500. All right, so that's that. If you know any car lovers who might love that. Amanda says he's very talented. Nancy says, the last gift I gave my ex is one of the wooden Woodchuck Finley pieces. I hope it finds him the piece, right? Sounds like he needs some peace. A little bit messy, huh? Harry says, I have turned lots of wood like those, lots of fun. Yeah, right? Linda says, OMG, what workmanship, just beautiful. Nancy says, I'm gobsmacked, the car, right? Bonnie says, I just got done with my day, so I can join in. Great. So one other piece by Woodchuck, and sorry, I got a delivery here at the end of the day, is this giant hand-carved bowl. And I'm not going to even pull it out of the window. It is, I think, about $1,500. It's carved out of one giant piece of oak burl, so an oak knot in a tree. And he cut around it with a chainsaw, and then every piece of detail in that, after he cut out the general shape, was done by hand carving with a chisel and a hammer, and brought it down to the beautiful piece that it is. We have beads inside of it just to decorate it a little bit, but it's a beautiful piece. Gorgeous work on that. All right, where can I take you next? Hello, Cornelius. There's Cornelius again, everybody. Cornelius stopping by to say hi. So we have a few things like these as well. These are by our friend who lives here in Pennsylvania. She makes these gorgeous vases. This one is $38.50. And I love these because they can sit like this, or you can kind of sit them on their side, a little bit more decorative like, and put things in them. They can, of course, sit completely over if you want, but I just kind of like this on edge look. I think it's really cool. So we have that one here right now, and we have the brown one here in the window. which is a really pretty, it's brown, but these little drops almost look opalized. So these are really nice. I want to get some more of those from her. You know, I want to get a lot of stuff. I want to get a lot of stuff. So let's move this a little bit over here. So we also have these around. These are beautiful. They hold candles. And when you put a candle in here and light it up, it just glows through those kind of, that tree silhouette, that forest silhouette that's there. These are only $15, as I almost drop it. These are only $15. Susan says, I have one of those hobnail vases, just gorgeous. Yeah, aren't they pretty? So I love these. I think this might be the last one of these I have left, unless we see another one going through here, but it is stunning when it's lit. It's stunning anyway, but especially when it's lit. We have a few of these champagne glasses. We have them in this amber color, and we have them in a black, like a smoky dark black color. I don't have a black one over here to show you, but these are really nice. These are only $9 each. Great for a nice occasion. We just like them a lot. Miles, how much is the red coral? The red coral is not for sale. That is just that's just decorative stuff. Decorative stuff. I should say everything's for sale, right? But I like to keep some of my decorations. The amount of people who ask us about decorations, I would have no decorations in the store. I'm like, if I could just sell decorations, maybe I should do that. I'll stop being a bead store and just sell decorations, because people like our decorations. This is $8.75. It's a zinc flower pot. Now it has no drainage hole in the bottom, but you could drill one if you want to. We have a number of these. They're really cool. They're super light because they're zinc. Zinc is super light. They make a nice sound too. I like that sound. This is the ASMR portion of this video. So we have those as well. We have a number of those available. Down here, we have these un verre d'amitié. So it's a friendship glass. So if you're out with friends or hanging out at your house, having friends over, you can have the friendship glasses out. So these are nice. Let me hold them so you can get an idea of size. Nice little juice glass, or maybe mimosa glass, right? Do a small Bloody Mary, maybe, something like that. So we have things like that. Jen says, I need to win the lottery and go shopping in your beautiful store. Please do just that. I would love it. So then we have salt cellars. So you can use this for salt. You can use it for anything really, but it does say salt on it. And wonderful glass jars. I'm going to put it on this ugly box that we just got in, but they have a nice lid. Nice, they're actually pretty heavy, so you're not going to accidentally knock over your salt if you have it stored in here. This isn't going anywhere. These are heavy. These are pretty heavy. So that's nice. We have these little decorative boxes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this off without, I don't want to break the top. They do open, I promise, and they smell really good. They're like some kind of, they almost smell like black pepper. It's some kind of peppery wood, but these are from Morocco, and this is $12 from Morocco. $12 for these. Bonnie says bath salts would be pretty in there. You could do that too, right? That's a good idea. That's still a kind of salt, right? And they're heavy enough that you don't have to worry too much about knocking them over. I love these boxes. I don't know if I had them in green. I'm looking around. That's why I'm spinning here. I don't want to spin too fast. But we have them in this beautiful amber color right now. I don't know if I have any more of the green available. These are $10 only. $10. They're just a nice little box with a decorative. I don't know if that actually says anything on there or not in any language. I think it's more decoration. If somebody knows, if you know that, if that is anything, please let me know. But I think it's a decoration. Marion says, you cannot be anything but what the store is now. However, you can also sell your decorations if you want to. We appreciate that. It's glad you like us so much the way we are, right? This is a letter opener. These are modeled after Saint statue hands. Saint statue hands. And this is $21. These are, like, this shouldn't even be down this low. I'm actually going to move this up here a little bit somewhere because those are pointy, and I don't like kids to be able to grab onto those because they're actually pretty dang sharp. But we just had a little gift section over here for the holidays, and we've left it up a little bit after the holidays. This is, I know some of y'all out there who watch these have gotten these. Susan says, you and Andrew always find such wonderful things. I'm so glad that you take into consideration people's budgets and not just have uber expensive stock. Yeah, we try to do that. We try to make sure that people can afford stuff, right? It's super important to us. We both didn't grow up with a lot of money. My mom was pretty much a single mother. My dad had issues with alcoholism and drug addiction, so he was not around very often, or when he was, it was not great. Sometimes it was great in between bad times, but my mom could never count on his income because sometimes he'd just disappear for the weekend and it would all be gone. So we didn't have a lot. I was spoiled a little bit by relatives. My aunt and my grandparents did like to spoil me. So I did get some things that way, of course, but I think Andrew didn't have that. And so we both still try to make sure, this is, by the way, $15 only for this little feather tray. We try to make sure that things are affordable for everyone. Not that you needed to know our whole story, right? Most of you know it anyway. De l'eau minérale, this is the mineral water, a glass for water. You never know when you want a little water glass. But these are really cute. You don't have to use them to drink out of, right? This can be, you can fill this up with a little bit of water and put a little flower in there, or a few little flowers, a little tiny bouquet, maybe your spring flowers you can put in there, your first spring flowers. You don't have to use these for drinking glasses. They're just decorative in a nice way for anything else too. Oh, let's see, what else do we have? We have cats. We have arched cats. Nancy says, I may need that letter opener. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, if you need it, let me know. Bonnie says, by the bedstand would be nice though. Yeah, like the mineral water. Everybody should have water when they go to bed, because I know I wake up and I'm completely dehydrated when I wake up sometimes. And I always keep water by the bed. These are a 3-cat set. The whole set is $10 for all 3 cats. They are hand carved and hand painted in Indonesia as well. And of course, we have all the flying women, flying frogs up here, all for good luck. So if you like those, we have those available. We have lots of those available. I know some of you have grabbed some of these already from us, and I'm glad that you like them. Let's see. Here's one of the darker champagne glasses in the smoky black. Susan says, I have to have a screw lid on my water. The fidget cat likes to knock over water glasses. Yeah, that happens to us all, right? Suzanne says, how easy is it to ship? To ship what? That's some of these are much easier to ship than other things. So just let me know. The flying creatures, they're a little difficult to ship because we don't normally, our stuff is all mostly small. So we have a lot of small things. We have a lot of small boxes, but when we need to, we can find some larger boxes for other things. I'm trying to see, there was something else I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you these. I think I only have this one left though. These are for essential oils. So you put a tea candle in there, light it up, and then you put your essential oils or your fragrance oils, like these are fragrance oils, and you put them in here, and it helps to burn those. So we have that. Suzanne, the flying frog. The flying frog would have to go in a box that's big enough for it. Now, some of these, the wings come off. They all start out with the wings off. Some of them are glued in, and some of them are not. So when the wings come off, sometimes it's a little easier to ship. But we'll get it out to you if you want one of those. Michelle says the store looks really nice, William. Thank you. We try and keep it looking nice. I know sometimes it's a mishmash of things. Like we have furniture, but it's all furniture we like, stuff we like. I think it goes pretty well together for our vibe. This is another thing. We have one of these plates by Michelle Mackenzie's studio. This is a Sgraffito technique plate. So the beige is put down first, the black is put on top, and then everything they don't want is pulled away. So they pull away all the black from this area. That's why you can see scraping through here. The black is pulled away to leave just this little cat in black, right? So this is $25. This is by an artisan maker as well. Susan says, I like eclectic things. We do too. If it were so perfect and, it's nice to walk into a place that's super well put together and super kind of modern or whatever, but it also sometimes it makes it uncomfortable, right? So we want our place to look nice, but also feel comfortable to people. We want people to feel at ease. We want people to feel like they can come in and it's not so, hoity-toity or whatever you want to call it, right? Michelle says, I love mishmash. We do too. Bunny says, that's why I love your shop. Something for everyone. We really try hard. We really try hard. So I think other than I could go all day with candles and showing you different things like that. We have a lot of different candles and artwork, of course, which is kind of a home good. But I just really wanted to show you some of those pieces in case you didn't know, or in case you haven't been with us long enough to know that we have things like that, or you forgot, or maybe you didn't need them back then, but now you're like, oh, I could get that as a gift for somebody. So if you see anything else, I'm just going to take a quick little walk around the store here. I love this vase up here. It's not for sale, y'all. It's ours. But this vase comes to us from our friend in Pittsburgh, Gina Chalfant of White Swan Studios or White Swan Illuminations. And she was actually our very first podcast guest. And we talked with her a little bit, but she makes beautiful things. So if you do not know Gina Chalfant, please look her up. She has an Etsy shop, White Swan. I think it's White Swan Illuminations. She's used both White Swan Studios and White Swan Illuminations. And so she makes gorgeous things, including some beads sometimes. We've had a few of her pendants. I'm just here at the artisan pendant section to see if I have any of hers on a quick glance here. There I have one. This is one of hers. But she draws her own decals and creates her own decals for her ceramics. And she does beautiful things in a lot of different styles. So if you love beautiful ceramics, definitely check her out. And if you can't find it or can't find her, check out our first podcast episode. And I should have links, I believe, to her site in that episode listing. And you can get beautiful. She does a lot of decorative plates and dishware. I just got a butter jar. If you don't know what that is, you put the butter in the top piece of the jar, and then there's a bottom piece that you put water in, and you dip it down in the water. You don't let the water touch the butter in there, but what it does is it creates a seal, and then the butter doesn't get bad, and you can leave it on your counter so you have spreadable butter. So I just got one of those in a mushroom shape from her. The top is a little mushroom head, and then the bottom mushroom. So that's really cool. Oh, good. Thank you, Michelle. You found it. White Swan Studio she's under. So that's Gina Chalfant, and she makes beautiful things. Let her know that your friends at Allegory Gallery sent you in case if you do purchase anything. She's a really good friend. She's helped us a number of times with a lot of different things. She's a great person too. And I'm sure she would appreciate your business. All right, so that is that. Oh, this is one thing. We have one of these left, a selenite candle holder. We have a little fake tea candle in there to let people know what this actually is. This is a selenite tea candle holder, $20. When you put a candle in here and burn it, this all glows. It's gorgeous. It glows a pretty yellow color from the candle. It is amazing. Bonnie says, what is that witch doll? Back here? That's Azalea's. So that's not for sale. That's mine. Butterbells. That's what it's called. Butterbell. Butter jar, Butterbell. So this is from Azalea. This is mine. You can't have it. But, you know, this is another thing that I could sell 80 times over. But this is Aiden. Aiden was created on 6/7/21 by Azalea. That's our niece. And she makes these dolls, all hand-created dolls. She does take requests, but she has dolls on the Green Girl Studios website. So if you go to greengirlstudios.com, you can see the current dolls that she has available for sale. I grabbed this one up as soon as I saw it. And you can get your own if you'd like. And if you message her on Instagram, Azalea Bell Ogden is her name, you can request your own. If you don't see something you like, she does take requests. I don't know what she charges. It used to be not much more than her other dolls for a special request, but I don't know if that's changed or not. But yeah, that's one of the things she does. She's been making kits for Green Girl Studios lately. She makes dolls. She plays the piano. She taught herself piano and bass guitar. She sews like crazy. She makes her own costumes. I don't know if it's 14th century she's really into, but she makes her own costumes. She's made coats and jackets for her family, for her dad. She's super talented and all mostly self-taught, which is incredible to me. Incredible to me. So that's that. All right, let me flip this camera around. Takes me a little while. They bury the camera settings deep in settings. Okay, so that's a little tour. Now I'm going to go back and sit down with y'all and chat. See, for all those people who prefer to just see stuff first, we just did it today. We just did it today. And now, if you'd like to sit and hang out and chat with me, we're going to do that. If you don't want to chat with me, then I'm going to go home. So, but hopefully you want to stay around and chat a little bit. We'll see how the numbers go. And if people just leave now, I hope people are staying for the chat as much as they stay for the products. But if that's not the case, we'll find out. We'll find out because I'm going to start reversing things a little bit. Bonnie says, I'm hangry and I have no food. I'm a little bit hungry today too. I actually ate a lunch. I had an egg and cheese bagel today, which is not the best thing to have, right? I was thinking of something more fresh, but then I went and got my half-calf coffee so I didn't get a headache. And they had them there. So I was like, okay, let's get one of those. Nancy says, Azalea for Prez. I would vote for that. I would vote for that. Azalea should make business cards to leave near the doll. She's awesome. I don't know if she knows I have it here like that. I don't actually know if she knows I did that, but we send her, I give her Instagram account out to a lot of people because that's where she mostly is. So she takes orders on Instagram mostly. So you can find her Azalea Bell Ogden. Her one account, which had 3,500 or 4,000 followers, got hacked and it got stolen from her. So if you see Azalea Ogden on Instagram with a lot of followers, that is no longer her. That account was taken over by somebody else who took that account from her. So now she's Azalea Bell, that's her middle name, Ogden, B-E-L-L-E. So if you were following her on Azalea Ogden on Instagram, please go and refollow her, Azalea Bell Ogden. Suzanne got crab cakes for dinner, a treat. That sounds like a treat. I used to love crab cakes. I used to love those. Seafood in general. I never ate a lot. My mom never liked shrimp growing up. So I never, we didn't eat a lot of seafood growing up. Even when we went out to dinner, you know, kids kind of follow their parents a lot. So my mom was always like, I don't like that kind of stuff. So I was always like, I don't want that kind of stuff. And then I tasted shrimp and I liked it. So that is one of the things I do miss. A good cocktail sauce with shrimp, a good prosciutto, a charcuterie board, one of my very favorite things in the world, hard salamis and things. missed that. Steak, missed that. Gonna just list all the meats again that I miss. But trying to be nicer, trying to be better, not eating that stuff. I don't know, y'all. Andrew's like, maybe if I have meat during this trip. I think he's wavering a little bit. I think he's wavering. We'll see. Let's see here. Bonnie says, that's not bad though, egg and cheese, right? Yeah, Mary says, egg and cheese bagel sounds yummy. It was. They put a nice little bit of butter on there and an egg and cheese. It's super, super light. Not light. It's not super light, but it's not a lot. So at least I had a little bit of something earlier today. I think I'm going to go home and make some spaghetti tonight. I guess it's a carb day for me. I've been eating salads for the past like 3 days. So I guess my body's craving carbs a little bit. So I'm gonna go home and make some spaghetti. Just very simple. I already have the stuff. I don't have to go shopping. So that's why I'm doing it. We're saving money as much as possible for Tucson. Michelle says, such a crazy talented family. I know. Every single person in their family is talented. It's insane. It's insane. Andrew's brother's talented. Both of his sisters are talented. He's talented. Kids are talented. My family doesn't have that kind of thing. I might be super talented at music. I don't know. My dad's side of the family, most of the kids, like my dad's siblings, a lot of them were very musically talented. My grandfather was musically talented. But so I might have that in me. I've just never tried really yet. I have a mandolin from my grandfather, though, that I'm planning to learn someday. Someday. Do your families have anything that they're super talented in and you got left out? Let's talk about it today. How about that? Bonnie says, oh no, poor Azalea, people are terrible. Yeah, they are. Some people are. Someone pretended they already had stolen. I think what happened is they already had stolen one of her friend's accounts. And her friend's account then came and messaged her and says, oh, I lost your phone number. Can you give me your phone number? And she did. Because you think it's your friend, right? But when she did that, they were able to use her phone number to get into her account. And they stole the account from her and she can't get it back. And Instagram is no help. Instagram has this thing where you send them a video of yourself and they try to match the other videos in your account, I guess. But most of the videos in her account weren't of her. They were of the things she made. Or if they were of her, she was dressed up and in costume. So it was very hard for her to prove through their AI matching algorithm that it was her. She tried over and over. And finally she just said, you know what, I'm starting a new one. Oh well, let it go. She's better than me because I would have been mad. So that's what happened. And so that person still has control of her account and it'll probably sit there and just wither away, unfortunately. Or be used for nefarious means like the friend's account was. Susan says, I'm celebrating having a good dental checkup by having a strawberry smoothie. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Bonnie says, shrimp and champagne, yummy. I don't have any of those things anymore. I miss champagne too, sometimes. I was never a big champagne drinker. And most of the champagne, the one brand that I actually like, they don't really sell much around here. It's Bollinger or Boulanger. And I used to like that champagne a lot. It's not cheap. It's usually, it's like a $100 bottle or so. So it was only a very special occasion thing. But it was my favorite. And you don't really find it around us here. Our liquor store doesn't usually have it. So, but I do, on a special occasion, on our wedding, I drank some wine. On my birthday, sometimes, or Andrew's birthday, I'll have a glass or two of wine or a drink. But but for my anxiety and for that reason only, I don't drink anymore. Because that can bring the depression and the anxious feelings. It's the same with caffeine. But I had my half calf today, and the thing I had a coffee the other day, and I asked for decaf, and I don't think it was decaf. And this is like a month ago. I say the other day, it's like a month or two ago. But I found that my concentration was a little better, and so I'm wondering, and today I found kind of the same thing. I was a little scattered today because I've been working so hard and so much that I haven't had a break really. I thought I was going to take a break last night, and then Andrew got on live and did the live sale. So I was on chatting with that and actually looking at what he had because I've not seen anything he's picked out yet. So all those beads that you were seeing last night during the live sale, or when you rewatch that and see, I hadn't gotten to see them until he went live. So that was the first time I was seeing them. But where was I going with that? I don't know. Anyway, I thought I was going to get a break that night, and then I didn't. So I was a little bit zoned. You know, when you just get so overwhelmed in your head, or you've done so much for so long that you start to feel like, whew. So I started watching some YouTube videos of friends today. And some of our friends have some really good YouTube videos or Instagram videos that I was watching, because I'm trying to catch, we don't like to get out of touch with everybody. And sometimes we get so involved in our work here that we don't know what's going on. But some of our friends have some really great channels out there. And so I was watching some of those today. And I was taking some notes. I was making my notes today of things. And I have some ideas for some things I want to do to help spread the word about their channels, because we have more on our channel than some of them do. And we're always trying to help push other people and raise other people up, especially when they've helped us out, or we've been, buying their stuff, their beads and their handmade items for years. When we have a real connection with them, we want to help them as much as we can. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But I got off the topic. I had some caffeine today. Maybe that's why I'm off the topic. But it helped me focus. Even though I was like worn out, I didn't just waste time. I focused on trying to make some connections today. And it was a little bit easier to process thoughts with a little bit of caffeine. So I'm wondering if I need a little bit. And I got to find the balance between anxiety caffeine and just like focus caffeine, because I'm really tired most of the day without caffeine, because I used to be a caffeine addict. And it got me through my day. And now not having it, I'm like, maybe I need a little bit. Okay, let's catch up to people, because I know you're all chatting. And I want to chat with you, not just at you. So let's see. Harry says, we are having loose beef sandwiches and mac and cheese for supper, probably baked beans too. Loose beef, what is that? Is it supposed to be roast beef, or was it loose beef? Because if that's something, I don't know about it. Can you see my comments? Facebook user, I can see you, but I don't know who you are. If this happens, if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give StreamYard your permission, that's the word, to see your Facebook username and photo, I'll know who you are. That's also in the link. It should be in the description of this video. If you go back in this video and check the description, you should see that link, and you can click on it. It doesn't give them permission on anything else. It doesn't allow them to see your photos or your profile name and your photo. Marion says, we ate steelhead, salmon, and trout mostly. Yeah, when we would eat fish, we ate trout a lot because people in our family fished, and we have trout streams here. So we would eat trout. Any fish that was generally prepared skin on, my mom and dad weren't a fan of usually, so we didn't have that so much. A lot of times salmon is done that way, I think. I've had it done that way. We had bass, sea bass, and regular bass, because we had a pond, well, a lake that we lived at, and sometimes we would go fishing. That was before I stopped eating animals. So sometimes we would go fishing. I wasn't a big fan of fishing, but it was nice to just be on the water in the boat with the family. That was the nice part of it for me. So we did that, and we'd sometimes eat those fish. Genesis, I'm thinking about making some salmon. I do miss salmon too. But, it is what it is, right? I know I could change. I talk about this all the time. I could change anytime. I could eat meat again, but I don't. It's an issue with me, which is a me issue, that I don't think that we need to eat other living beings. That's just why I do it. If anybody has ever wondered, that's my reason. But I don't look down on people who do or anything like that. We have our choices in life, right? And you can do what you want. For me, I like, I was talking to someone today and we're like, yeah, I break for chipmunks. Me too. So if I'm not gonna if I'm gonna worry about breaking for a chipmunk, for me to eat, then something like that doesn't make sense in my own head. So that's why I stopped. Nancy says salads are hard in the winter. Anybody else think so? They can be. Um, they can just be hard because you don't want to eat something cold when it's cold, right? That's why it's hard for me. But my mom made a really good salad and she gave me a bunch of it. So it had apples and grapes and blueberries and kale and spinach, carrots, and some other good stuff. So it was really good. I didn't have any problem eating that one. Amanda says we had spaghetti. That's, I think, what I'm going to have tonight. Janice says you can go pescatarian, or the odd seafood and vegetarian diet. Yeah, I did this for a couple of years. I know I could do that, but I still have the thing. It's my thing. And again, I don't judge anybody else for eating what they want to eat. It has nothing to do with what other people do. I'm not like militant in any way about it. It's just for me personally, I love my pets. I love animals. I think animals are more intelligent than a lot of people give them credit for. And I don't think it's up to us to eat them if we don't have to. I don't have to survive. So for me, that's what it is. And fish are the same thing, and sea creatures are the same thing. They've got their own little lives. The sharks can eat them. It's nature eats other nature. I know that, but I don't have to. So I let them be. That's why I did it. That's why I do it. Even though sometimes I want to eat them, which is weird, right? Sometimes I do crave the taste and the meat, but I don't. Now I eat eggs. I'll eat eggs. I eat honey. I'm not vegan. Um, you know, I would help an animal out if I could, and they're helping me out with their eggs and their milk and I don't mind that. The cross species help, but that's yeah. But I won't eat them. Norma had wood fire oven pizza. So good. Wood fire pizza is good. It really is. Bonnie says, my sister is a sporty spice, great in gymnastics. I am not at all. Yeah. I probably could have, my brother is very athletic, or he was. He does flooring now, which is athletic in itself. If you don't think it is, try going up and down on your knees and doing squats all day. That's pretty much a lot of what, and pushing big machinery around to sand down floors. But he did basketball, he did baseball. Baseball was his big thing. And his son plays baseball. His daughter is in gymnastics, and she does soccer. So they're a sporty kind of family. I was always good with things like that, like hand-eye coordination and things like that. I used to be very good at, and they tried to get me like on the wrestling team and things like that, but I just didn't have it in me. I'm not a big team sports person. And I don't know what that says about me, but I don't like things in teams too much. I didn't like team projects in high school or college. I had one French class that he insisted that we do things in groups together, and I always got out of it almost every time. I would just turn in my paper and say I couldn't find a group, and he would grade it separately, and I always did really well, usually better than some of the other groups. But yeah, I'm generally self-motivated and kind of a self-starter, especially in learning and things like that. So I could have been good maybe at gymnastics and all. I kind of wish we had a gymnastics thing in our high school, but we didn't. But then again, I grew up in a small town and grew up gay, and me being in gymnastics would have probably shouted that to everyone, and it was not the safest probably thing to do back then when I was growing up. It's a lot better now, which I'm very thankful for, that younger people can be more of themselves in a lot more areas in the world. including small town Pennsylvania in some cases. Michelle says, my brother is an artist. I hate playing Pictionary with him. I know. People, like, we had cousins and stuff, and they would play Pictionary, and I'm like, I hate this game because it brings out all the lack of everything that I have. And when you grow up as kind of a, naturally, things come natural to you. Like, I didn't struggle much in school. I was very lucky. Things like that came naturally to me. And when you grow up like that, and then suddenly you're forced to do something that you're not good at, it's hard. And I know, play the world's tiniest violin for me, right? But it is hard when you're forced to do something like that. And sometimes I probably had tantrums that I probably shouldn't have had about wanting to just play stupid games. But now I'm a little bit better at that. As I get older, I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see my awful drawing. You're going to see it. Because I'm more open about that. And that's what my William Tries page is all about, is being more open about trying things and not feeling like you have to be perfect at it, or not feeling like you have to be embarrassed by trying something. Because if you're trying something for the first time or the 80th time and you still haven't gotten it, it's okay. I was made fun of for a lot of things in life, and it held me back, I think, from a lot of things too. But as I get older, I realize, you know what, if people want to make fun of me, go ahead. It's okay. There's a lot of things I'm good at that you're not. But even beyond that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. If they don't think you're good at something, but I like doing it, do it. You just do it, right? I'm going to take this banner away because we're done with that part of the show, right? Now I got to scroll back because I just touched that. Okay, let's see. There we go. Susan says, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. My mother used to serve breaded shrimp, frozen bag, and creamed potatoes from a box. Now I can't do seafood because I have allergies. That can happen, right? If you eat things enough, you can develop allergies to them, I think. Yeah, my mom was not into shrimp. Creamed potatoes, though. That almost sounds kind of good. I don't know. I do love me some potatoes. I was a steak and potato person, or just general red meat. I used to like ostrich and potato. Ostrich meat can be really good. It's kind of a red meat. It's a dark meat. But yeah, I love potatoes. I love potatoes in most every form. I'm not going to lie. I'm part Irish, supposedly. I've never done it. I need to do one of those 23andMe or one of those things. But supposedly on my dad's side, I am part Irish, so I blame that on the potatoes. Facebook users, I can't seem to contact you for some reason. Sorry. I don't know what you're trying to contact us about. Is it an order? Is it on here? You're just trying to comment? I don't know what you mean. info@allegorygallery.com is the best way to contact us. I'll put that up here for a moment. That is the very best way to contact us. But yeah, I don't know what you need, but that's a great way to contact us. Make sure you spell it right. A lot of people have issues with the double L here. Make sure that all gets in there. But yeah, info@allegorygallery.com. I do check through the junk mail from time to time. But yeah, let's see here. I'm going to take that down now. Where am I at? Marianne says, musical ability, I can play the guitar, but not very well, and I can sing. Y'all, if I could sing, I would not be selling beads. I would be out trying to sing everywhere. When I was in, I did drive my brother crazy. I would come home and belt out opera and show tunes and any other song that I liked, like from the time I got home from school until, when you turn up the radio loud in your room and you listen to stuff, I would belt it out, and I do not sound good singing. Not one bit. No one wants to hear it. But I love it. And in another life, I must have been a singer, or I've just always wanted to be a singer in every life I've had, and I haven't gotten to do it yet. Because if I could sing, I would be singing all the time. You would not be able to shut me up. That's what I can say. Um, Janice says, I'm not a fan of any drink that has bubbles. Yes, I'm strange. Andrew's kind of the same way. Andrew does not like carbonated drinks generally. Um, and I don't like anything heavy carbonated. I used to actually, with some carbonated drinks, I would like kind of open them and then shake them a little bit and wait for it to die down and open it up and then sometimes shake it again just to get some of the carbonation out so that I could drink it a little bit more flat. I used to do that a lot for some things. But yeah, I get it. It's not, I don't think it's that strange. If you tell people that, I would probably think that a lot of people would understand that. Debbie says, salad makes my core cooler, so I don't do meal salads in cold weather. I get that. I get that. Yeah, I'm not like, I don't eat soup generally in the summer. I don't eat a lot of salads in the winter, but because my mom's on this salad kick, trying to get her inflammation down, she's making me salads. And we had a salad here. The private class we had brought in a huge salad from Panera. And so I've been eating a lot of salads lately. And I don't mind. I don't mind. It's actually pretty good. But I'm also a little bit more warm-blooded than a lot of people, I think. I was talking to someone today about that. Same person I was talking to about not hitting chipmunks on the road. And she loves summer because she's like, I'm always in the cold. When I'm in the cold, I'm bundled up. I'm still cold. My body clenches up and I'm so tense. And I'm like, yeah, in the summer, my muscles ache and I just sweat. So I do run a little warmer, I think, than some people. That was not always the case. I had thyroid. I still have thyroid issues, but I have medication now. When I didn't have it, I was freezing. And I know when if I run out of my thyroid medicine and I don't take it for a day or two, I start to get cold. Like extremities get super cold all the time. Hello, Kane. Thank you for tuning in. Bonnie says, that's true about caffeine and concentration. I do think it is. I've heard other people talk about it too a little bit. I haven't really looked into it, but somebody mentioned it the other day and I was like, that actually was true for me too. It was the same with nicotine. I used to smoke. Some people don't know that. I used to smoke cigarettes. And I did it because they helped me focus and calm down. When I was like rushing for the bus in the morning at college, or, I would have a smoke on the way to the bus because it just brought me down to a even kind of, instead of being rushed around. And I think the nicotine was good for me because nicotine is supposed to be a drug that helps you focus. And I have read that. So that's one of those things too that I'm like, should I just have like nicotine gum once in a while? I don't know. I might have to try that and see what happens. Because nicotine, I don't think makes you as jittery as caffeine. I think it has a different effect. So it might be better for my anxiety, but I don't want to smoke cigarettes again because I quit those cold turkey pretty much when Andrew and I got together. He hated that I smoked, hated it. So about 6 months into our relationship, I think I gave up. I think it was around my birthday after we met, my first birthday after we met. So like after 4 months or so of dating, I just gave up cigarettes. So maybe the nicotine, maybe I need to look into that. I don't know. Anybody else? I know it's a weird thing, but does anyone take nicotine gum for just concentration or anything like that? Has anyone tried that? Linda says, I'm still here just sitting and listening while I try to work out this new design I've been working on for a few days. Nice. I need to check out your channel more to see what kind of things. Do you do a lot of seed beating? Is it mostly seed beating? I'm not sure because I'm not a seed beater. And I took a quick look, but then I got distracted by somebody coming in. So I haven't been able to actually look. Marion says, I prefer some sparkling wines to champagne. My favorite is Deinhard Lila. I've never heard of that. Yeah, Andrew does not like dry champagne, the brut champagne, and I do. So, but I also like Prosecco sweet too. But Yeah, sparkling wine's good too. Champagne, actual champagne, like the Champagne region in France, can be more expensive, obviously. So most people, when they say champagne, they mean sparkling wines. I know. Um, Bollinger is an actual champagne, but or Boulanger, but it is yeah, sparkling wine was good too. I don't like a lot of sparkling alcoholic beverages though. I never drank a lot of them. I prefer just having wine, regular wine or some vodka. I used to be a big vodka drinker. Um, Vodka tonics was my like go-to. In college, it was rum and cokes. And I hope I'm not triggering everyone. I don't know anyone here who is having or who is an alcoholic, or I don't like to talk about that if it's triggering. So let me know. But those were like screwdrivers, all in the same night. Usually, we go out dancing, and I did dance a lot, so I like dancing. So I would dance a lot of this out of me. But screwdrivers, rum and cokes, vodka tonics, wine, um, 57? No, 53 and Coke. 53 and Coke was so good. 43. 43. 43. 43 and Coke. That was good stuff too for me. It's like a vanilla Coke. So yeah, but I'm not gonna say too much until I see it in the comments. I don't want to trigger anybody talking about alcohol because I know that can be, from personal family experience, can be triggering. Michelle said, funny, my doctor told me that if coffee calms you, you may have ADD. See, I might. Coffee, to a certain extent, focuses me. Not necessarily calms, but does bring me to focus. But if I have too much of it, I get jittery. And when I get jittery, I get into an anxious state. So maybe that's interesting. I didn't know that. I've never heard that. More proof that I might have had ADD all my whole life. Susan says, one branch of my mother's family is very musical. My Uncle Ben, was a big band drummer. I have a picture of him with Gene Krups posing with their drum kits. I don't know who that is. Maybe I should know. I don't know a lot of people, like artists' actual names, if they're in bands. My cousin Joe has followed in his footsteps. He's a drummer and has performed with the St. Louis Symphony. That's cool. That's cool. Susan says, I inherited no musical talent. The cats are the only one who can handle my singing. Yeah. And I think my cats would run away. They pretty much have nothing to do with me if I'm in singing by myself. It's that bad. It's really that bad. People are like, William, you have a good voice for radio, or you have a good voice for like our podcast. And I'm like, that's nice to know, but it's hard to believe sometimes because my singing voice is so bad. There's Deborah. Hi, William. Can you see me now? I can. And now I know who I'm talking to. And I've tried to send you emails back. And maybe they're not getting to you either. Because there was one email that definitely told me it was rejected. And then I tried to send another one and it looked like it went through. So I don't know if it did or not. But I think I did get an email from you just today, but I haven't gotten to reply to it yet. So I think I do have an email from you for at least one of them. I think, if I'm thinking about the right person. Because I've had a few people I've had issues with email. I'm getting them, but they don't seem to be getting mine. Or somebody's saying they sent one and it came back to them and then they tried it again. So that's why I always say make sure the allegory gallery is spelled right. Because I know it's a lot of L. Sometimes the L's get dropped when you're typing fast. Marion says, have a morning cup of coffee. That's what I'm thinking. Even a half calf, because I used to like super dark, strong coffee. Super dark, strong coffee. And I used to drink my coffee mostly black. And now I'm thinking maybe if I fill up like half a glass with coffee, like half a little coffee cup with coffee and add water, because I don't need it as strong as I used to, maybe that would help and just give me like, a little bit of caffeine. Linda says, try some chicory essence instead of coffee. That may work for you. It might. I don't know. Chicory, though, chicory doesn't have, that doesn't have any caffeine, right? I don't think so. It's the caffeine that I'm wondering about. Coffee, I can drink decaf if I want some coffee. I can take coffee or leave it most of the time. So it's not that, like tea's fine. I drink a tisane or like an herbal tea. But it's wondering about the caffeine. That's what I'm wondering about. Harry says, loose beef, hamburger steamed in broth, put on a bun. I've never had that before. I've never had that. That's interesting. It sounds good. Okay, there's, yeah, Deborah. I'm getting to your comments, Deborah. I see you now. Trying to contact us all day by email, maybe? I'm on my phone, so I can't look. But I think, hold on. While I'm here, since I have you and you have me, let me see if I did get an email from you. I did. I got an email from you today. Then I got an email saying delete the order, so I don't know what you want. But I did get your email. I just haven't been able to answer my emails yet today. I actually had some people in the store, which was actually nice. Some people came in thinking it was a class day. They didn't realize class was canceled. So we stayed and chatted, and they got some things. And so I haven't gotten to my emails today. But yeah, I can definitely do your order if you want. That's no problem. I got it. I got your email. I don't always get to my emails every single day. Yeah, we're good if you want it, or I can cancel the order, whatever you want to do. Let me know. Let me know in the comments here. But we've got a connection going now. So as long as you reply to the emails I send, they should get back. And I reply to the same ones, it should go back and forth, hopefully. Nothing will get lost now. They're in my inbox. So the inbox it should be safe. Let's see here. Susan says, the entire Thornton Ogden clan is crazy talented. Yeah, Greg is crazy talented too. I don't mean to leave him out. So he gets left out a lot, I think. But yeah, he sculpts some of the beads for Green Girl Studios. He does most of the work in manufacturing those beads. He illustrates. He wrote his own book. He writes like epic poems or stories. He does a lot. He does a lot. He's a talented sculptor. He makes his own costumes. Crazy talented too. Let's see here. Kane says salad is a must in dieting. Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't do a lot of dieting. I just try to eat okay. I don't eat enough probably, but yeah, you know, that's just the way it is. I don't know. Veggie soup is good for cold weather time, says Michelle. That's true. I like soups during cold weather. No other time of the year pretty much do I care for soup. But when it's winter, it's good times. Cold spring night or a cold fall evening, it's good too. I do like some cold soups though. Gazpacho, borscht when it's cold. I like those too. That's good for summer. Janice says some animals are smarter than people. Some animals are smarter than some people. I fully will go there with you. Yes. Susan says, what is your brother's flooring company? Now that you asked me, it's gonna jump out of my head. Tommy D. So my brother is named Adam, but his company is called Tommy D's Hardwood Floors. And the reason is because he apprenticed and worked under a guy who owned Tommy D's. I think that was Tommy D. And when Tommy D was ready to stop working and retire, he sold the business to my brother. So my brother, because it already had a good name, he just kept the name. So it's still Tommy D's Hardwood Floors, but my brother is Adam. But yeah, he does a great job. He did Star Cottage Studio for us and did an amazing job. If you didn't see the photos of the before and after, check out the Star Cottage Studio Facebook page of ours and check that out because he did a great job. Vanessa says, it's a lot of work flooring. We owned a hardwood floor company at one time. It is. It is. I would not want to do that work. He loves it. I would not. I am not good with DIY. Let me just put that out there. I hate painting walls. I hate building and constructing and hammering. And now give me an IKEA something. I like putting those together. That's like kind of like a puzzle, and all the pieces are there. But when you got to figure out what the pieces are and what the materials are, and I just don't have that in me. I wish I did. Andrew probably wishes I did, because he'd do it'd be a lot more probably peaceful in our household if he could get me along doing more of the projects. But it's not me. That kind of stuff is not me. As much as I'm okay at it, like I can figure stuff out, but it's also, Andrew and I both think in different ways. So like we joke about it, but if he's going to turn something this way, I'm going to try and turn it that way. Like it's just like when we're flipping tables or flipping something over, like one of us has to kind of wait for the other one to start, and then we just go that way, because inevitably it'll be backwards. Suzanne says, "Oh, I agree. My work was big on teams." Suzanne, not at all. Made for, shall we say, interesting meetings. Yeah, right. I'm not good at working with other people generally. Like I can do teamwork, but it's hard for me. If it's something I'm very knowledgeable in and someone else is in charge, it is very hard for me. Very hard for me to be in that team. If it's something I don't know much about, I am happy to let someone else take the lead and help however I can. I'm a good number two. Like when you have the boss and you have the number two, the most important helper, I'm a good number two. Probably in a lot of things, that's the way I am, because I'm very good at helping someone else achieve things, I think. In most of my other jobs, that's what I did. But and even here, it's like I'm not the visionary here for this. Andrew is definitely the visionary. I think he wishes I might just be a better number two, but of course, because it's so personal to both of us, it's hard for that. But when I was in most of my other jobs, I was a good assistant, and so. But if I'm very knowledgeable about something, it takes a lot for someone else to convince me that they're as knowledgeable and that they should be in charge. And it's hard. It's hard. Susan says, my brother and Sad we're both engineers. They could fix anything. My dad did woodwork and metalwork too, and was a photographer as well. I have his work. That's nice. That's nice. Marion says, my favorite game is Scrabble. You would think I would like Scrabble more, but I am not good. I know a lot of words in a lot of languages, but I don't know a lot of those words that get you those high scores, I guess is what it is. Let's see. Deborah says, can you see my comments, Susie? We can see your comments now. We can definitely see your comments now. Oh, I got to, everything jumped. Sorry. I'm also seeing how behind I am. So we're getting there, everybody. Sorry about that. I probably already answered this, Deborah, but you said can't get back to you about my order. I can definitely get back to you. You can get back to me. I saw both your emails come in today. I just didn't get to them today. But I already said that. So don't think I got it. If you want it, but if I see you down below that you really want to cancel it, let me know, or you can send me another email and tell me if you want to cancel it for sure or not. All right. Let's see here. Susan says, my mother's younger brother was a baseball player. He played for the New York Yankees at one point. Wow. That's crazy. That's awesome. I don't have that. I don't have that talent. Marion says, I think I'll have potatoes and eggs for supper. That sounds good too. Maybe I'll go and get some potatoes. Maybe I'll do something. I don't know. Janice says, anyone's mom make things that you were forced to eat and now it wouldn't touch it? My mom would make beef tongue. My mom never really she did not force us to eat things. If we didn't like it, she asked us to try it, but we were never forced. We weren't a family, even though we didn't have a lot of money. We weren't a family who you were forced to finish your plate or anything like that. But luckily, she also raised us, to try things. And there was no stigma. Like I knew she didn't like shrimp, but that wasn't until later in life. They really didn't say, oh, I don't like this, My parents were pretty open about trying things in general, as far as food was concerned. And they brought us up that way. So trying vegetables, and like I ate vegetables from a very young age. But I also had my grandparents, both my grandparents had gardens and we would help. So I saw where the vegetables came from, and I think that really helped me. So I can't say that there was anything. My mom would eat deer heart because my family hunted, and of course we used the meat, and we didn't let much go to waste. So my mom liked deer heart. I have yet to this day have ever tried deer heart, but she said it's really good. So I don't know. I don't know. Marion says, I love Mountain Dew, but I often let it go flat before drinking. Mountain Dew is one of those things that I still crave. And I know there's a caffeine-free version of it, or there used to be. I don't know if there is anymore. But I used to be a Mountain Dew freak. Like I would go to work. There was a vending machine where you get Mountain Dew, cans of Mountain Dew. By the time I left work, sometimes there were 8 or 9 cans stacked up of Mountain Dew. I would crave Mountain Dew in the morning. Sometimes I still wake up and think, wouldn't Mountain Dew be really nice right now? It's a weird thing, but a lot of my family is also Mountain Dew drinkers. On my dad's side of the family, a lot of Mountain Dew drinkers. So it runs in my blood. Marion says, being cold was never one of my thyroid symptoms. I am contrary. I used to be freezing cold. Linda says, yes, I do freeform beading and wire work. Nice. I'll have to take a better look. Nancy says, a physician treating me in the ER used nicotine gum for focus. See, I think it's a real thing. I might have to do that. See if a doctor's doing it. It must be okay, right? But yeah, I think I might need to look at that because caffeine is not the way to go for me because I can get too jittery. So maybe nicotine gum. I have to see if my mom has any more nicotine gum. My mom, if you weren't watching this when I talked about it before, my mom cured her, some people lose their taste with COVID, and my mom's taste changed. I think it was vanilla ice cream and green beans, 2 things she loves, started tasting like just perfume. Like it was awful for her to eat them. And she took nicotine gum and it cured it because she did a lot of research, and she started finding these people that were curing themselves because it started with smokers don't lose a lot of their taste for probably this reason. A lot of smokers with COVID don't lose their taste. And so they started looking into it, and she dug deeper, and they found that trying nicotine gum sometimes has helped people. And so she did it, and she now can taste everything just like she used to be able to. So she cured that. So maybe she has some nicotine gum left that I can try to see if it helps me focus too. Janice says, I felt the same way when I used to smoke. I gave it up 35 years ago. The minute I found out I was pregnant, now I hate the smell. I can't say I hate the smell. I was never a fan of secondhand smoke. Even when I would smoke it, if it blew back in my face, not a big fan of that. But every once in a while, when I walk by somebody who is smoking and I catch that, it's like, oh, okay, that's not terrible. But it's not all the time, but every once in a while. Bonnie says, yes, sorry if alcohol talking is a trigger. I have people in my family. Yeah, we try not to do it, but hopefully no one here is having issues. Marianne says, I did a champagne tasting at one of our local wine stores. I think only 2 were real champagne. Yeah. Real champagne is generally expensive, right? Linda says, I also do stringing and all my designs are mine. I just got an order from somebody, so thank you. I will say, if you didn't see it already, Green Girl Studios has a pre-sale for wonderful things. So we have the pre-sale on our website for a lot of those things too. So if you want to get them from us, you can. If you want to get it from them, you can. But if you reserve now during the pre-sale, you're going to be in the first or one of the very first batches that come out, and you'll get them before most people. So those are available in the online store. I saw the amount of that sale, and I'm like, that might have been a Green Girl pre-sale. So check that out if you didn't already. Suzanne says, I no longer drink, but your words are not a trigger for me. That's good. Janice used to be tequila, and is actually my husband's go-to. I can't drink it all anymore, and I miss it during football season. That was something I never enjoyed. And there's The reason for that mostly is that my friends would always order that at the end of the night. And if I got sick, that's all that I tasted coming back up. Tequila was not good. Although I did have one good tequila from my professor. We had a party at the professor's house. A select group of students they invited over, and we had a Spanish night. And he brought in tequila that he got somewhere. It came in this beautiful case, high-end tequila in these little, the little shot glasses, but nice drinking glasses. And it was amazing. I wish I knew what brand or what kind or what name it was, because it was actually sippable and good. Let's see here. Susan used to do red wine. 10 years ago, switched to white and rosé. Now I hardly ever drink. I drink fruit juices. Yeah, that's what I put in here. Usually cran raspberry with water. I take water, fill it up to about there, add cran raspberry to about there, just to flavor the water, because we have city water, and I don't like chlorine taste in my water. And I'm too lazy to do the Brita. We have one, never reused it, never refilled it. It's going to my mom now. So I just add a little bit of juice, and it's okay. That's how I drink it. Vanessa says there should be an email from me as well regarding those items I talked to you about. There is an email. I do have, let me make sure before I say for sure. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to flag these people that have new things. I believe I'm not seeing yours off the top of my head, but it might be down further. If it's about the scarves and things that I haven't gotten to yet, I should have it. I should have it. I feel like I saw your name, but I'm not seeing it off here. I'm trying to look quick though. If I don't get back to you by the end of the weekend, anybody, about anything that you've messaged me for from today and before, if I haven't gotten back to you by the end of the weekend, then send me another message, or message me some way else. Email's best, but if you message us on Facebook or something, at some point I'll check those. I don't check them very often. Or during a live, just say, hey, you didn't get back to my email, and it'll remind me to look, or look for it. Bonnie says, I guess it's canned soup and a bagel for me. Oh boy, oh boy. Amanda says, I adore my morning coffee. Debbie says, what's going on with the new building? It's a work in progress, or not so much progress yet. Right now, things are super tight, so we can't do a lot. So the new building in Johnstown, it's covered by the renter that we have. It mostly covers itself, so we don't have to work like to the bone to make anything happen yet there. It's still ours. We still have it. And we're deciding a lot right now whether we close this store because of the overhead and maybe move it into the other store, whether we go online only with Allegory Gallery, and continue that as a contemporary jewelry gallery that we first thought about, whether we use that space up there for mostly classes. There's a lot of things that are in flux right now, and really how the economy turns out this next year is going to determine what we actually do with that new building. In a perfect world, it would be the jewelry gallery that we want it to be, while Allegory Gallery stays here and is fruitful and everything works out. But right now, we are severely limited in funds, so we can't do a lot. We're just trying to keep this afloat, to be honest. So right now, we're not putting as much energy in that as we could if we had, some more funding and some more cash flow, really. I take caffeine pills for my migraines. Yeah, the pills that I get for severe headaches have caffeine, and it does help. It does help. Linda says, I think chicory has a lower amount of caffeine. That's good. Cindy says, hello, William. I drink tea and black coffee, but not strong. Strong. Yeah, I used to drink it very strong, and that made me too jittery. Harry says, I had Yemen mocha coffee this morning, rich but not bitter. Nice. Michelle says, I drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning. As too much makes me crazy. Yeah. Yep. My doctor was like, you drink a lot of coffee and you drink alcohol. You probably should just cut those out, at least for a little bit, to see if that helps your anxiety. And it did. Let's see. Cindy says, I also like a glass in a once in a blue moon glass of white wine. Nice. Amanda says, I made snack wraps and my eldest wants me to thank you for the recipe because she loves it. She ate 4. Nice. Good. They're very simple, our snack wraps, but they are good once in a while, right? Andrew would probably have them more than once in a while. Oops, where am I? Sorry, comments jumped. At least I'm catching up. Marion says, what does Max do? Max, our nephew, he watches a lot of product unboxings, which may be weird for a kid, but I also like that too. So I can't fault him for that. He watches a lot of product unboxing. So, and he likes YouTube. He likes to watch creators on YouTube. So he also likes, I forget what the name, they're kind of like Transformers. There's a certain kind of toy, and I forget the exact name now, but he likes that kind of stuff. Kind of the same stuff. If I were a little boy growing up now, I'd probably do the same thing. Unboxings and I loved Transformers. They were one of my favorite things. Susan says, thank you. My friend was asking me if I knew anyone. You know my brother now. You know me. My brother does a good job, but he is usually booked months in advance. So if somebody needs somebody to do something like right now, it's probably not going to work. But if they can plan for a few months down the road, then they should probably, I would say, get in touch with him. Facebook user says, how can you tell where beads are from? Sometimes you can tell various gemstones by color and quality. Certain mines in certain places have better quality. For example, Larimar only comes from the Dominican Republic. It has only been found there as far as I know. Our beads, we hand pick the majority of our beads. So we know where our vendors come from, and we know what country they come from and where their beads come from. So that's how we know. So yeah, I don't know how other people know. Some people who buy in just giant bulk quantities from anybody, I don't know how they know. But we know our vendors, and we know where they come from. That's the thing that's having a small boutique jewelry store and bead store. We handpick the majority, like Andrew's going and handpicking every single strand he gets. We don't just say, oh, you know what we like, package it up for us. No. We also don't have that kind of budget to be able to say, you know what, we'll just take it all. So we handpick everything for you. Bonnie says, we fed our yucky food to the dog under the table. I could have done that too, but I didn't have to. Marion says, she made pea soup, but I didn't have to eat it. Marion says, haha, doctors don't treat themselves well. I've heard that too. Now there's that bell. Yeah, the cell bell. Have you heard from Andrew tonight? How's the show going? I have not, because I've been on here on the video the whole time, but I will not hear from Andrew until after they close up and get back to the hotel. I try not to bother him while he's selling and doing stuff because he does not look at his phone. Andrew, when he is in show mode, is one of the best people to have on your team, because Andrew sticks to selling. Not necessarily selling. I don't mean it like in pushing sales, but he sticks to what he's doing. You're not going to see him like sitting on a chair and saying hi to people from the chair. You're not going to see him, looking at his phone. He doesn't even have his phone on him most of the time, other than to take an order. He has creepy memory, which he calls it, which he remembers, like, if he saw you at a show 10 years ago and he now saw you for the first time since then today, he'll be like, oh yeah, you were at this show and you were wearing this color shirt, you had that color hair, and your hair looked like, it's creepy and it freaks some people out, but he has that memory that can connect with people. I don't have that so much. I like to talk to people about things, and I remember some things, but Andrew will remember a lot of stuff about a lot of people. But ask him to remember your phone number or a number, not good at that. But yeah, so he will be like, if I needed to get a hold of him, like I would probably have to call someone else at the show to go get him, because I would probably never get a hold of him, even if I absolutely needed him. Because he's focused. He focuses on the people in front of him, which is what you should do when you're at a show. Susan says, I need something to help with my energy. I know. Mary says, anyone tried Aquavit? What is Aquavit? Suzanne says yes. Amanda says, what is Aquavit? Vanessa says, no, it was about the beads of the world. The beads of the world, the last thing I had from you, I think, let me look a little bit here. Oh, I just checked my junk and there it is. I don't know why it went into junk mail, but yes, I now see. Because at first I was like, I was waiting for that too, because I was waiting to see if you actually wanted any of those. And then for some reason, that email went, which is weird because you did a direct reply that I found it. So I do have it. Thank you. I'm glad you made me look here. Oh, high spirit alcohol. High alcohol spirits. I have not. Bonnie says, I know this is terrible for the environment, but since I had chemo, I can only drink bottled spring water. I know chemo does weird things to people sometimes, right? Yeah, I try not to drink too much bottled because I don't have to, but Fiji water. I like Fiji water. It's a good water for me. It's my favorite bottled water. Facebook user says, I received beads from Frankenmuth, Michigan, 1985. Wondered where they were made. Could I bring them in for you to see? I would not be the best at that. You can try bringing them in. The best thing to do is to start out is to take pictures of them and send them to us, and we'll give you an idea, because I can share that with Andrew too. Andrew has a lot more knowledge on that kind of stuff than me. So if you send us a picture first, good pictures of them, we can tell you whether it's worth your time to come in and whether we could find out anything else. Yeah. Susan says, my hubs has told me that if I ever get a migraine, caffeine will be my best friend. Yes, caffeine does help. It even helps me, and I don't take it that often, but I usually do take pills with caffeine because I know that. And my mom knows I don't drink caffeine much at all. And she said, when I had my migraine, she's like, you might want to just make yourself a little cup of coffee. Marion says, I love unboxings. Me too. Me too. Linda says, I have a terminal illness, so I no longer drink alcohol, tea, or coffee. I just have ginger ale. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that. But I do love ginger ale too. I do love ginger ale. Real ginger ale, right? Hello, Vaughn. Hi, William. Hi, everyone. Sorry I had late again. I had an appointment. That's okay. We're just chatting today. Well, we showed you stuff around the store at the beginning. So if you missed that, you can go back and rewind, especially on YouTube if you want to. But we're just chatting. And I'm late answering, so you're probably already talking again. Been so sick for over a week. Doctor gave me antibiotics for bronchitis, apparently. Bronchitis is going around, everyone. If you get a cold, be very careful, because there is a cold going around that is turning into bronchitis or walking pneumonia for a lot of people. So if you get a cold, take good care and don't let it get bad if you can help it. Countless people now have been telling me that they either know someone or they themselves had a cold that turned into bronchitis or walking pneumonia. So please take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Vanessa says, what, junk mail? I know. I don't know why. Usually when you reply directly, it doesn't. And I didn't check my junk mail today because I barely checked any mail today. Of course, this came in, 2 days ago. So I have not been checking my junk mail in 2 days. I don't check it every day. I try to take a quick look through it, but let's see here. Oops. Sorry, it just jumped. Aquavita is very strong white spirits, often with added, is that herbs? Is that what that is? Added leaves? Debbie says, I keep looking at the skull face next to the necklace behind you. This is a painting by Cheryl Ann Lipstrew. Cheryl Ann Lipstrew. Let's see her. And she is a body painter that was on Netflix. I think Netflix. What was the show called? Can't think now. Anyway, she was on that, and she was also, I think, a guest judge on that, on another season of that show. We had her in for Fort Ligonier Days one year, and she did face painting. That was the whole year of the tent debacle, if you've been following us for a while. But she made this painting, and we still have it here. And we also did a podcast episode with her. But she was friends of the family. I forget whether it was Sheila or Cynthia or Andrew. They kind of knew each other, and she's gotten pretty big in the body painting world. And so we were lucky enough to bring her to Ligonier. And and then it was a mess because the people here in Ligonier didn't care who she was or that she was comfortable, which really made us upset, actually. So if I sound a little bitter about that, I am. And if you're from Ligonier and you were part of that, I am. I'm not afraid to tell you, right? We had a famous celebrity in town, and they treated her not so nice, and treated us not so nice. So that's one of the reasons that, when we think about if we have to close the store here and move to another town or something, we love our town, and most of the time it's lovely. But there are some things in the background that don't always go so well. Let's see here. Susan says, I love ginger ale in the winter, root beer in this hot summer months. Root beer is nice too. I love the little root beer candies. My grandfather used to smoke like unfiltered cigarettes, and I never knew him to smoke. He never smoked when we were young, or once we were born. He had already stopped, but he stopped by every time he wanted to smoke, he ate a root beer barrel candy. And what's funny though, or maybe not, I don't know, is that I had never seen him eat a root beer barrel candy. So it must have, maybe the association was too much. After he gave it up, he never ate them again. But I had never seen him eat one of those again. But that's what I was told. He gave up smoking by replacing it with a root beer barrel candy every time. Let's see here. I missed that, Suzanne. I don't know why, but you said, which is another reason I'm not going to any parades. Don't know why. Oh, because of yeah, you have a new COVID thing there. You have, and the sickness, the colds and the bronchitis and stuff. Yeah. Pam says, wow, I feel out of it. I didn't drink soda, never did. Yeah, I used to live on soda. Like, I was a kid who drank mostly all soda. I didn't like water. I still don't like plain water unless it's like bottled, like Fiji water. That's the one bottled water I like. It's very clean tasting, very refreshing tasting. Some bottled water is like oily. Some is like a little bit too dry. I know it's weird to think about water like that, but if people can talk about wine with different things, can talk about water with different things. So yeah, I was not a water person. I love orange juice, but it has just as much sugar in it now as any soda does. So, so now I drink a little bit of juice, just a tiny bit to give enough flavor, but not too much sugar in my regular water. Vaughn says, my immune system is shot even before getting sick, so when I get sick, it takes forever to get rid of it. Yikes, I'm sorry. That's not great. It says, awesome painting. Yeah, right? Whoops. Linda says, I have one question. Can someone please tell me why is it Americans only wear colors according to the season? I don't. I'm wearing black because this is the only hoodie that I could find that was clean today. I've went through all my hoodies and I need to do laundry this week. But I don't know that a lot of Americans actually do that. I think that's, you know, I see a lot of Americans wearing white after Labor Day, even though that's not a thing. You know, that's supposedly the big thing. I think it's a generalization or a stereotype that may have been true maybe at one point, but I don't think it's as much anymore. Maybe in bigger cities, people who are super fashionable, but I certainly wear whatever. Like, actually, under this I have my hot pink raspberry Allegory Gallery shirt because I like a little bit of color, even if I'm like mostly all dark. It peeks out at the bottom. I like color though. Let's see here. Susan says, we used to get root beer barrel candy as treats as kids. Brings back memories, right? Debbie says, that is really terrible that they treated her and you guys badly. I make a point of making guests and new people feel welcome. I know how it feels to be the new kid or not know anyone around. Yeah. So if you don't know what happened, I don't like to rehash stuff, but she came into town. We had a tent set up. And I guess technically we're not supposed to have a tent at our store door for liability reasons. But when you look down the street, on all streets, many, many, many of the merchants had tents. And in years past, we had tents with nobody saying anything about it. But when she was here, we had a tent set up so that if it rained, her paints wouldn't get ruined. If it was too hot, she would have some shade. You know, the same reasons you normally have a tent. And so we were spanning the sidewalk so that anybody walking on the sidewalk, there was no danger of tripping or anything like that. We weren't blocking the sidewalk. We were spanning it just like most other people in town who had tents. And I don't know if it was to prove some point. Some people don't like that we're gay, and that's just the way it is. Some people are not okay with that. And sometimes I think in some ways we're targeted sometimes because of that. But for whatever reason, there was one person on the committee that we knew personally through another friend of ours who was a good friend of ours. And they sent him to tell us that we needed to take the tent down. They didn't come and confront us themselves. They sent him over, even though he was lowest on the totem pole, to come and tell us to take it down because they knew we wouldn't cause a fuss to him, because we appreciated his help and his family's help and all that. So that was the whole thing. And we started a petition in town, and many of the other merchants signed it because they had tents and no one told a single other merchant to take their tent down. We were the only merchant in a town of all merchants that was asked to take our tent down. No one else was. And so we were definitely targeted for some reason. And it made the whole situation bad because she then couldn't do what she was here to do. She felt very unwelcomed because we tried to explain to them, this is why we have the tent. And she felt very targeted too. And so the town should just actually be quite thankful that she didn't sue them because she tripped on the sidewalk and fell and hurt herself, which could have been a big legal issue for the town, and she did not pursue that. So that was another thing that happened. So yeah, that's what went down. And to this day, we're still not allowed to have tents, but we made a big fuss about it. And there was a committee that was reinstalled that was supposed to give the merchants a better say in what happens during this big event. because the merchants had been pretty much written out of having any say in the event. I don't know if that's been kept up, unfortunately, but for 1 year at least, the merchants had a more say in what happens in the merchant town during this big town-wide event. Okay. Jennifer said, I add a little juice to my water as well, or sometimes a fruit tea bag to a bottle of cold water. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Linda says, we don't have root beer here, so one of the first things I wanted to try when I was in the US was root beer. It was the most horrible thing I ever put in my mouth. It tasted like bad cough medicine. Some root beers are not great. I used to drink birch beer as a kid and cream soda as a kid. I used to love cream soda. That's funny. I haven't had that in a long time. That doesn't have caffeine. Might have to try a cream soda again sometime. I think as I got older, though, it became too sweet. I've seen the season color thing on so many jewelry tutorial channels on YouTube. A lot of that kind of stuff comes from the Pantone color of the year and colors of the season. They pick colors for every season. And that's not just the US though. I mean, Pantone is here, but that's kind of a worldwide or European too fashion industry thing. Whatever Pantone says, because they're like the king of color, a lot of times that does start happening. So that kind of thing, yes, I could see that. But as far as the, some things, I don't think most normal, like just regular people, the middle class, lower class, I don't think we care what colors people wear most of the time. But it's just like the Devil Wears Prada, where she goes through, what is it, cerulean? And it's true. It starts out the high fashion houses, usually by someone like Pantone dictating the color of the year. It filters into high fashion. And if you look at any architecture magazine and fashion magazine, you will start seeing the Pantone colors, sometimes even before they release them, because I think they get insider knowledge. And then you will start seeing it filter out. And in about 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you're going to see it all in Walmart too, that color. It just takes a while to trickle down through the classes, I guess, right? But yeah, you will. That is a thing, yes. But I don't think it's only I don't think it's only the U.S. in that case, because I've seen that in other countries too. Let's see here. Lena says, my husband loves root beer, which they don't have in England. I love birch beer, but only real birch, not fake wintergreen flavor. Yeah, the real root beer, the real birch beer. Suzanne's back on Facebook. Husband needed the computer. Nice. Bonnie says, we use the Pantone books in the advertisement. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. They are like the king of color. They have categorized and named all the colors, right? All the colors. Marion says, but certain colors do look best on a particular person. Yes. Every skin tone has some color. Some people are lucky that their skin tone works with almost everything. I am not one of those people. Bonnie says, it was a great communication tool for color. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You couldn't have anything printed correctly if someone didn't categorize the colors like that. You just couldn't. You just couldn't, right? Susan says, another nostalgia trip. Vest cream soda. It was always at my maternal grandparents' home. It is probably very bad health-wise, but I have a very soft spot for that ruby red color. Yes, it's red, not normal for cream soda. Yeah, I've seen that one too. Marion says, we used to make root beer. Yeah, you can, right? And birch beer. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the comments. But there were a few things that I was talking about earlier that I wanted to get back to a little bit, and I wrote some things down. So I told you today I was working on some things, and my phone's almost out of battery, so I got to do this quick. So I was thinking of some things and watching some people's YouTube videos and things. And so I started communicating with some people. We're going to start our podcast back up at some point this year, hopefully some point soon after Andrew gets back. Even though Andrew's not really involved much in the podcast, he has stories about people and things that I like to talk with him about before I interview someone. in case I can talk about those things or want to talk about those things. Or sometimes he jumps on and actually does do the podcast with me. So I started reaching out to some people today and starting to try to line up some podcast interviews so that we can continue that and get that moving again. So that's something that I want you all to look forward to, hopefully. And if you're not already signed up, you can we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music and all that, and you can follow our podcast and subscribe to them there. So if you haven't done that already, Allegory Gallery Interviews is our podcast. I don't know if we're going to change the name. I don't think we need to. We were thinking about it, but I think we're going to leave it that way for now. And so you can sign up, look up Allegory Gallery Interviews. If you've not listened to any of them yet, you can listen to the back ones, the backlog, and check that out. But we're going to try and get that started again. And we're going to try and start interviewing not just bead people, but also other craft people maybe, and other people. We might start also interviewing people who don't necessarily have their own businesses, but are interested in beading and do a lot of beading. So I want to, I don't want it just to be, I think people like to listen more to sometimes more to, experts in the field and things like that. But I don't want it to be something that is totally out of touch for normal people too. So I kind of have this idea that I'd like to interview normal people, right? Just everyday people who do beading work or something like that. So we're playing around with ideas, but I have been in touch with a few people today, and some of them have already said yes. So I'm excited about that. What's everyone saying? RC Cola. I haven't had that in a long time. RC Cola. So I've been doing that today. I also, one of the small businesses I follow a lot, they send out an email once in a while. Marion says, we aren't normal. I'm talking about people that, just like everybody, like me, like you, like everybody watching this, just to get other stories, other points of view on why people start making things. Like we did one with our friend and Nettie Ray, and we did it from the fact because she started her own small business. And we did it because of that, but I like that idea. She was a truck driver, a long distance truck driver, long haul, and she hurt her foot, so she couldn't drive. And jewelry helped her regain, some semblance of herself back. After losing herself, after not being able to do that, we really enjoyed that story. And she used to bead with us a lot. She moved away a little bit further away, so we don't see her as much anymore, unfortunately. But she used to live right here in town. She used to she was beading a lot. She started her own business. We helped her fill out the paperwork and do all that with her. And we wanted her story, and we wanted it because it was inspirational, I think, to just anyone, right? Just anyone. And so that's we don't want just people who are like, we want to interview experts in their field, and we know a lot of them, and we're going to be reaching out to a lot of them. But I also want, even if it's just a supplemental every once in a while, I want to throw in normal everyday people and talk to them about their story, why they got into beading. As Lena says, we all have a bead journey, right? Why are you doing this? Why did you get involved in this? Like, what does this do for you? Because listening to experts is great, and you get a lot of information and a lot of ideas from them. But listening to people who you feel are more like you, like I don't consider myself an expert in this field. So for me, listening to other people doing these things just as an everyday person, somebody who doesn't do this necessarily for a job, somebody who doesn't do this to support their whole life, I think that's very inspiring to see people who are finding time to do this. And it goes back to the idea of that we encourage, we encourage beginners, and we want to encourage more beginners to do this. And, listening to people who've been doing it for 30 years doesn't always, I think, inspire everyone to give it a try, because they're like, well, they've been doing it for so long, it's easy for them. But when you hear it from people who are just getting into it, or people who are doing it in their spare time because they just enjoy it so much, I think that can switch someone from being, from not doing it to becoming a beginner. And I want to encourage people in that way too. So we're thinking about things like that. So that's what I was kind of doing. Bonnie says that would be fun to listen to. Linda says that sounds wonderful, William. Thank you. Let's see here. So yeah, that sounds like fun. I just looked up your podcast, says Debbie. I don't know why I haven't before through all these years. Yeah, we have one. We haven't put out an episode. I put out one episode, I think, last year. The pandemic really just cut it off, because I liked to do them in person with people, because we had a little setup and we could invite people and we could do it with them. And before the pandemic, a lot of people didn't know how to use Zoom, or weren't comfortable with the technology needed. Even though I knew it, a lot of the people we wanted to interview, there is a thing that, a lot of craft people, creative people, if they're not on YouTube, a lot of them are so involved in their craft, they don't care about technology, and trying to use it is hard. And I think that goes for a lot of people. So before the pandemic, when no one was really using it that much, at least in our community here, it was hard to do that. But now that everyone's kind of a little bit more used to it, I can do things more remotely, and I feel better doing things remotely than I would have before, trying to convince everyone else to do them over Zoom or over something like that. So we are looking into it, and now that people are getting more used to that, I want to start it back up again, because I think it's a worthwhile thing. Janice says, I just checked Spotify and I'm already following you. Now I just need to listen to what's on there right now. Yeah, please do. And give us those thumbs up. Linda says, I've been making jewelry for 15 years and I'm still learning. That's the way to go about it, right? Don't think you know everything. But yeah, please give us those reviews on wherever, Spotify or Apple Music or wherever. We appreciate those good reviews and thumbs ups and all that, and share the podcast. It's going to get going again. Hopefully you enjoy it. Greg actually wrote the intro and outro music that I use in the podcast in later episodes. It's not there in the beginning few, but we asked Greg to do to come up with some kind of theme music for our podcast, and he did, and we liked it a lot. So we have that. So that's a really cool thing. That's Greg Ogden from Green Girl Studios. We were talking about him earlier. So we appreciate him for that. And hopefully you like the podcast. I think we've interviewed some really interesting people so far. Let's see here. Marion says, more inclusiveness. I think that's what it's about. We try to be inclusive in all ways as much as we can. And I think just interviewing people who are at the top of their game is inspiring in some ways. And it of course it looks good for us because we're interviewing all these people, and people see that we know these people, right? So as a company, that looks good. But we don't want to be out of touch and out of reach, and that's why inclusiveness is important. Bonnie says, that's me still with technology. Yeah, right? Some people still are. So it's still difficult. But a lot of people who we'll probably interview and do things with, at least people on the, kind of been doing this 30 years kind of spectrum, they've probably been doing some teaching and some things like that already through the pandemic. So hopefully it'll be easier to do the podcast now. Cindy says, when I retired a few years ago, I always talked about making my own jewelry. Never really thought about opening up a store, but want to sell what I make, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that's what Nettie did. So if you listen to Nettie Ray on our podcast, I don't know if she's episode 4. I can't remember the numbers now. I used to know them off the top of my head, but it's been a while. That's what she lost her job. She couldn't do it for a while. She got back into driving. So she drives bus now instead of long haul. super long haul truck driving, but she wanted to make jewelry. She started learning how to make jewelry. She's with us, and she came in and she really loved it. She fell in love with it. And so she started up her own little business. I don't think she does much with it anymore, but she still has it, I believe. Like I said, she moved away and we don't hear from her as much, but she did start it. She was selling stuff for a while, just, because she started making so much, as people do when they get involved in making jewelry. They start making a lot. And she's like, I may as well sell some of this because people wanted it. So she did. Debbie says, would you also simulcast the podcast on YouTube? That's something I've been thinking about because, podcasts generally started out as just audio. And now so many YouTube people are doing them as audio video. And so maybe, but like most of the people I'm talking to right now are comfortable. They might have their own YouTube channel or they do videos. So it wouldn't be so bad. But some people are deathly afraid of getting on camera and being seen on camera. So it's a very tricky thing sometimes. We don't want to exclude anybody because they don't want to be on camera. But if we started on YouTube, then that would make us probably want to do every episode on YouTube. So it would become something that might exclude people. We're still playing around with it. We're still thinking about that idea. Me, I don't mind. I would be on YouTube doing it with them, doing it that way. But we'll see. We'll see. Lennis is always learning, love tutorials and classes. Me too, when I can take them. I wish I could take more, but haven't won the lottery yet. Bonnie says, that's why I love the TGBE. All those people who teach and sell, I learned so much, right? It was a good thing they came up with, Andrew and Sarah together. Did anyone make anything today? I did not, but I'm sure. I haven't checked even the design challenge group much today. My day has been weirdly busy off of the computer. I mean, I was listening to YouTube while I was making notes and trying to organize my life. Let's see here. Vaughn says, not me, been too busy. Michelle says, very off topic, your scruff looks good. Thank you. This usually happens until I get myself together enough to shave it, and then it starts all over again. And I have such sensitive skin, I have to use like hair clippers to shave. That's what I shave this with. So it's never actually always gone. Because if I use a razor, my skin just breaks out. So I just do that. But thank you. Marianne says, I did 3 loads of laundry, right? I should. I have some laundry to do. Michelle says, TGBE is brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, Andrew and Sarah came up with that together. That was the brainstorming, the brainchild of Andrew and Sarah. A lot of people in the TGBE don't even know who Allegory Gallery is, but the TGBE would not be there without us. Not to toot our own horn, but Andrew and Sarah were talking together and they came up with the idea of doing it. And so the TGB is there because of Sarah at Softlex and Andrew here at Allegory Gallery, whether they know us at all or not. So yeah. Sometimes we'll send out an email because we get the email list from people who sign up for the giveaway at the TGBE, and we'll get replies to our email like, who are you? We're like, well, we began the huge group that you're in and that you watch. That's who we are. But yeah, that happens sometimes. Lena says, I posted today's challenge was to use resin. Good. I have to look at it. Linda says, my husband shaves like you, William, has sensitive skin too. Yeah, I can't do anything more than like the buzz, zzz, and then that's it. I've not tried like an actual electric razor, but I've heard you have to get used to those. And I'm like, why? Why should I do that when I can just do this? It's fine. Andrew uses it to shave his head. I use it to shave my beard. Amanda says, I made a few cards from gel print plates. Nice. Did you show them? I didn't see them yet. Michelle says that's so weird, right? A little bit weird. Bonnie says, I need to buy some resin. Mine is old. Yeah, resin can go bad, right? Resin can go bad. So, yeah. So yeah, that's What else did I have to say today? Oh, I was thinking of some other things too. This is where I started, and then I got sidetracked. So this company that I love called Ugmonk, Ugmonk, Ugmonk. They do office supplies, and they used to do T-shirts, and they're getting rid of a lot of stuff. But they've kind of made it big, doing a lot of production kind of wood making stuff for desks. And so anyway, I've been following them for years. They started like 2 years before we started our business, and maybe 3 years. And so I like his newsletter because every month he sends out a newsletter of things that he's into. And so my phone is probably almost dead. I gotta hurry this up. He sends out like 5 things he's into, and he will spotlight other small businesses and other things that he's really, just vibing with. And so I'm thinking, like, on my William Tries Things, I want to start putting out a post once a month or something of some things that I just have come across recently that I'm interested in. And maybe other people will be too. So if you're not following me on William Tries Things and that sounds like fun to you, maybe follow me. And maybe we'll do that together. But I think I come across some pretty interesting things sometimes, because Andrew and I both do a lot of looking and researching and reading and small business looking. So maybe you'll like that. So that's one thing I came up with today that I think I might want to do. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out because I got sidetracked and didn't do it. Vivian says, I just came on as Andrew at the Tucson show. Yes, the show started at 6 p.m. our time here, 4 p.m. at Mountain Time. So he is there. He is hopefully making some money. Suzanne says, didn't make anything but got an AG order. Nice. Amanda says, I didn't post them. I already sent them in the mail, but I'm going to make some more. Nice. Janice says, thanks for reminding me it's laundry day. Marian, I am planning to make a journal, but I need a few more supplies first. Nice. Michelle says, good idea. William Tries Things is where? I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. Mostly I do stuff on Facebook. William Tries Things. You can find it on Facebook. I think I started a YouTube account, but I haven't done anything, I don't think, on YouTube yet. But definitely on Facebook. I do have an Instagram page. But mostly I'm working on Facebook because it's good for groups and good for pages like that. And I've always wanted to do this. And then when I saw him do his email like that, I was like, why don't I do that? Why don't I do an email or do something posting like that? Because I come across a lot of good stuff and I've always wanted to find a way to share it. And when I saw his email, I was like, that's a good way to share it. So I think I'm going to run with that and do some things like that. So find me, William Tries Things. It's right here on Facebook. Just search William Tries Things. I should pop up my face. Should pop up with my whooshy hair like that. Janice got to go. Have a great weekend, everybody. I got to go too. My phone's probably almost completely dead. Lena says, gems from last night's live were gorgeous. Hope they sold well. We haven't sold a ton of them. So if you haven't seen that gemstone show from last night, check it out. Check it out. All right. And is Andrew making money or spending money? Hopefully both. Spent money so far. Now the show just started today, so he has to make some money now. All right, everyone. I got to go before my phone dies. It was telling me it was getting low before, and I kept talking. So thank you all for joining me for this almost 2.5 hour thing. Michelle said, just followed William Tries. Thank you. Yeah, we've been talking for like 2.5 hours. So thank you all so much. Everyone, have a wonderful weekend if it's the weekend in your neck of the woods. And we will see you here again on Monday. We don't do lives over the weekend, unless I do a William Tries Things live and do start that up. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. Allegory Gallery will be back next Monday. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. I love spending time with you all. I love the chat today, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.